The truth is, stress and worry will often stem from us worrying about the future or having concerns about the future or regrets about the past. Because sometimes when we've made mistakes, 5 years ago, there is something about the human nature where we are expecting punishment for it. The Bible calls it sin consciousness. There's an understanding, even if it's not expressed, that the chickens are going to come home to roost. But by focusing on how God is providing us for us in His presence, we can anchor ourselves in the now and we can be part of the storytelling. Let Him just do that thing He does best. That will only generate this heart of gratitude and thanksgiving. Hello everyone, welcome back to Travel Light. It's your friend Dr. Unoma. As always, hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, welcome. I was about to add things there, but there's nothing else to say. So for my new friends, guys, I am Unoma. I am a psychiatrist based in Glasgow, Scotland. And even more importantly, guys, I am a child of God. I am a lover of Jesus, a follower of King Jesus. And I am just so convinced that He cares deeply about us, everything that affects us. And He cares deeply about our mental health. And that's what Travel Light is about, guys. We are really exploring mental and emotional health through the eyes of the Good Shepherd, Jesus. And we are on a quest to live the abundant life freely and lightly. So hop on the train, guys. Let's travel light together. So if you are new here, wow, can't speak. If you're new here and you haven't done so yet, please click on the subscribe button. It just means that every time I have new content coming out, which is every week, so help me God, you are the first to find out and you never miss out on a conversation. And yeah, if you like the content and you know anyone who could benefit from the conversations we have, please go ahead and share. You have my permission, share away. And of course, like the video because it just helps with the algorithm and things. It means that people actually are following and they're tracking and yeah, they can give us a wee boost. So welcome back to the podcast. As you know, we have been talking about stress forever. And in the last episode, we were talking about how when we turn our attention towards the reality of God's providence, meaning the reality that God never stepped away from His creation, but He's actually very much still involved and still very kindly provides and tends and cares for us, His people, and the whole world. It just, yeah, it really helps us to build resilience and be bolstered against the pressures that come with life. But today we're going to be talking about something related, building on this topic of providence and talking about gratitude and contentment and how those are really vital when you think about stress management and how to navigate the crazy times that we live in. So, as we know, as I've observed, gratitude is all the rage nowadays. And I love that. Something is happening on the earth where there is a bigger awareness for gratitude. It's interesting. Obviously, people go, I'm grateful for, I don't know who they're grateful to, but we'll take it. Gratitude is all the rage right now. But have we ever thought about it in the context of managing stress? Probably not. So we're going to do that today. So we're talking about providence last week, which I already touched on. And again, is that reality that God is very much present and active right now in this creation. And whilst the earth is our playground, and I say playground because I really do mean that, He's very much still involved in this dance of creation. And there is an understanding as a believer that, and I hope we all believe this, that not all things may be good, but all things are actually working together for our good. And for that reason, we can even accept the bad, the ugly, because they still make up part of the glorious story that is being written at the moment. And this is really important, especially when we go through things that we really don't have any answers to and they're out of our control. And when we turn our attention towards the providence that we're talking about, we can surrender to trust and let go of anxiety, knowing that we can be guided and we are guided. And our job is to listen for the shepherd's voice and know what way to go. And this heart posture of acceptance and trust and just chilling out, the natural response to that is gratitude, when we are understanding that we are not alone, but actually the Lord genuinely is with us and we will not be shaken, right? So when we fix our minds on the ways God provides for us, and that's the wee things and the the small things. For people who aren't Scottish, something we say all the time. Small things and the big things. We can look back and, as I was saying in the last episode, reflect on the way God's cared for us, and we're reminded about his faithfulness, and our faith is bolstered up, and we can trust that he will definitely show up again. As we focus on the Lord's provision, gratitude will naturally bubble up. The truth is, stress and worry will often stem from us worrying about the future, or having concerns about the future, or regrets about the past. Because sometimes when we've made mistakes in, 5 years ago, there is something about the human nature where we are expecting punishment for it, the Bible calls it sin consciousness. There's an understanding, even if it's not expressed, that the chickens are going to come home to roost, that kind of thing. But by focusing on how God is providing us for us in his presence, we can anchor ourselves in the now, and we can be part of the storytelling. We can just let him just do that thing he does best, right? And again, that will only generate this heart of gratitude and thanksgiving, because, of course, I remember, just think about moments of gratitude, because I could be better. I could be better at being grateful generally. I think I'm better than I was, say, 5 years ago, but sometimes I'm like, man, it's hard, but it's not that bad. And I could say thank you a bit more. But anyway, I remember that there are these moments where, they stick in my mind for whatever reason, really small moments. I remember as a trainee, I was working quite a bit away from where I lived, and the drive home was fine. But after a long day, especially if you've been on call for 12 hours, you're like, man, okay, cool. Let's get in the car. But anyway, I do remember moments where I would leave my work, and you're about to embark on quite a drive, and I would sit in my car, I would just be like, you just sit down, you're like, oof, take your deep breath out and all that kind of stuff. And I remember the moments I would be intentional about finding what I was thankful for. Typically it would be, Lord, I'm so grateful for my car. It was not the best car, but I didn't have to wait for transport. I could drive, and I remember this feeling of, yeah, it's all good, and it really did remove my attention from the other stuff that didn't feel too good. But in the moment, I could be grateful for being in a car. Basic, I know. And another moment I loved sharing with the Lord was, driving down in my car, coming back from work, and again, long journey. And then, it's just gives me chills thinking about it. But I would see, in the horizon, I love looking at the sky, right? Like clouds and stuff. I don't know anything. I don't know any names. So don't ask me anything meteorological. Nothing like that. It's just so pretty. You're on the plane, it's nice. But anyway, you're driving down, and then it's through the clouds, there's a glimmer of light busting through, and I would just be like, I just feel like that was the Lord talking to me. It was so funny, but it just gave me chills all the time. I'll be like, that's you. And I'll be grateful for the clouds. And it just made my car ride just so much easier. So in those moments, we won't call them stress, but it's just meh. It's just not joyful, right? But actually, being grateful for even the wee things can do something. It does something to your psyche. It does something to your body. It does something to your spirit. It does something to your mindset. It does something to your stress levels. So let's talk more about gratitude, shall we? So gratitude, the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. I love it. When we look at the Bible, right, there's just so much command. You read Psalms, especially Psalms, Chronicles, New Testament. There's that Psalm 136 that sometimes we read in a church. We have this thing called Praise Week every December, and then we talk about we don't talk. We praise every single day of the week. That week for an hour. It's kind of it's cool. It's really cool. Anyway, where was I saying? So Praise Week. Often we would read Psalms, and this Psalm 136 will come up, man, is long, but it's give thanks to the Lord for his good, for his mercy endures forever. And you start reading about the ways God's been good, God's been merciful, God's been faithful, and you're like, okay, it's good. It may not always be good, but it's good. Other in the New Testament is be thankful. There is 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. So I believe that gratitude should be natural, because when good things happen, that's unfortunately in our fallen state, we do have a propensity to focus on the things that aren't looking so great. Focus on the things that are perhaps ugly and bad, and we don't necessarily see the good things there. I know though that when God commands us to do something, that action is for our good. And I believe God asks us to be grateful because that's our natural makeup. Gratitude is a language of heaven. It's just, there's something about it. When you receive or give gratitude, it really does something to you. But yeah, the Bible says it is His will for us. I'm going to share a really interesting experience I had with the Lord one time. So I was in my quiet time and I was journaling away. I've shared this before. I'll often ask God, like, what do you have to say to me today? Just let Him guide our conversation. And He was just talking to me about, just talking to me. A lot of times He affirms me and things like that. And then, oh my goodness, one day He thanked me for making time to spend time with Him. I was like, not the master of the universe, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not Elohim, saying thank you for sitting with me to spend time with me. I really learned in that moment. First of all, a couple of things. One, God actually really does like us and wants intimacy more than anything. And also gratitude really is like a currency. It's like a value in heaven, because if He could do that to me, a lowly creature, like, okay, I want to be that. I want to be somebody that is just pours out the gratitude. So yeah, gratitude, as I said, necessary for stress management, and I'll explain why. So now, when we look at literature, so scientific studies and things, there is actually quite a big wealth of evidence that highlights the benefits of gratitude on your psychology and your well-being. So there's this really interesting study from 2003. I shan't bore you with all the details, but by Emmons and McCulloch. And basically, participants who kept gratitude journals and recorded things they were thankful for, they reported high levels of well-being and life satisfaction compared with those who focused on daily hassles or neutral life events. Imagine that. Now, when we look at studies, so there are different studies you can do. You get observational studies, you get random controlled trials, the different studies. Now, depending on the kind of studies you do, it can basically, this kind of study dictates the robustness of the evidence, how strong the evidence is. Now, on the top of that grading of robustness is a type of study called meta-analysis. Guys, giving you this for free, right? Anyway, meta-analysis essentially pulls together different studies, a lot of studies about a theme, and then figures out if there is strong evidence or strong themes that run through it. And basically, it just strengthens the evidence that comes out from trials. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, so a meta-analysis that was carried out in 2017 by a man called Dickens, or could be a woman. I just assumed it was a man. I'm sorry. Just because I thought Charles Dickens. Anyway, meta-analysis by Dickens 2017 showed that gratitude interventions like writing gratitude letters or keeping a gratitude journal consistently increased overall well-being and happiness across various demographics and settings. So again, the strongest evidence we have when it comes to this theme of gratitude and well-being actually demonstrates that, yeah, we do benefit from it when we practice gratitude. There's some literature that also indicates that gratitude can help with reducing depressive symptoms. Gratitude has also been shown to improve relationships and social bonds and leads to greater feelings of support and reduces your feelings of isolation. So super important. Now, when we think about gratitude specifically in relation to stress, there's also some research that's been done about that. And there's a couple of studies, one done in 2011, one done in 2015, that demonstrated that people who practice gratitude, and I keep saying that practice, because it doesn't come naturally all the time, and it's okay to practice until it becomes a skill that you are proficient in. Practicing gratitude showed that people that did that had significantly lower perceived stress and higher perceived social support, which is very crucial for stress management. The study in 2015, the one I already mentioned, showed that those that did gratitude journaling reduced their perceived stress, and that also had a positive impact on physical health indicators related to stress, such as your heart rate variability. Gratitude has also been demonstrated in science to improve your ability to cope with stressful situations, such as seeking social support and reframing the stressor so it's not as bad as it looks. And also, people who express gratitude just feel better emotions, and it helps them to cope with stress better. Another really, really interesting one is there's been, I'll read you one. A study done in 2017 by Cross, Pargament, Ironson, and Hill showed that this study basically examined the relationship between gratitude and cortisol levels in people that experience chronic illness. Remember cortisol, our favorite hormone, which is actually good because it's important in the stress response. But if you're going through chronic stress and it's on all the time, it can cause big problems for your health. Now, with this study that I already mentioned, people who reported high levels of gratitude had lower resting cortisol levels. That's super interesting. So that suggests that gratitude may help to actually maybe mitigate the stress response that I've spoken about and reducing the cortisol levels overall. There's another study done in 2016, and this one focused on patients with heart failure, and that group is typically, exposed to high stress, and they wanted to find out if gratitude journaling could impact on their cortisol levels. And interestingly, it showed that people that kept gratitude journals for 8 weeks showed significant reductions in their cortisol levels compared to the control group. And this would indicate that if you practice gratitude regularly, it can actually really affect these physiological markers like cortisol that are stress related. Have I convinced you yet to be thankful? I hope I'm getting there. Anyway, let's move on to the effect of gratitude on the brain and in the ways that helps you to be resilient against stress. Now, when you're grateful, when you practice gratitude, it basically broadens your thinking repertoire, your behavior repertoires as well. And you're able to build personal resources that are lasting, and also enhances the connections between your nerve cells. Also interesting is that when you're grateful, it increases the activity in the prefrontal cortex. And that's the region that is crucial for learning and decision making and emotional regulation. And if you are better at emotional regulation, you have a better resilience against stress. So super important. Now, if you incorporate mindfulness with gratitude, it can also, further strengthen that ability to regulate your emotions better, which is good. Another very interesting thing that gratitude does is that it helps you to be more cognitively flexible. That means you're not fixed on a particular idea or fixed on a particular way of doing things, and you're able to reappraise situations and in a more positive light. And that's a really important component of neuroplasticity, which is that ability of the brain to kind of morph and change over time in response to experiences. Another wonderful thing that gratitude does is that it helps to build your problem-solving skills and your creative thinking skills, both of which are really important if you're going through stressful situations, don't you think? So, very important. So, we know that gratitude does all this stuff. Certainly the research indicates that. And it does that by it strengthens gaps between your nerve cells and enhances your brain's ability to form new connections. Like, that's so cool. I love how science it eventually comes back and says, oh yeah, the Bible is right. Oh, give thanks to the Lord for his good, for his mercy endures forever. Ooh, brain shifting. Amazing. That's so cool. And now, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but your brain releases these molecules, these compounds, they're called neurotransmitters. So when your brain is sending signals from one nerve cell to the other, the signals are sent via these neurotransmitters. So between cell 1 to cell 2, and between the gaps there, the information travels, basically being carried by these neurotransmitters. So we have a few, and I'm sure you would have heard about at least one or two of these. Now, dopamine, this is the reward neurotransmitter, and this is what you feel when you have, say, won a competition or passed an exam, or I shouldn't say this, but been on social media and you had a like on your photo and it's like bing, or maybe watched one episode of Netflix and made you feel good. So that's the reward neurotransmitter. And it just promotes feelings of very nice, pleasure, satisfaction. Dopamine increases with gratitude. Isn't that great? So rather than vegging on Netflix, like I do sometimes, we can actually just practice gratitude and get that same effect without the side effects. Another neurotransmitter, which you probably heard about, is serotonin. Now, this is crucial for mood regulation. Gratitude boosts that, boosts the production of serotonin and improves your mood, reduces your depression and anxiety if that's something that you're struggling with. Another interesting one, another neurotransmitter is one called oxytocin. This is the love hormone. This is the one that enhances social bonding and trust. And when you practice gratitude, that raises the levels of oxytocin, helps to strengthen your relationships. There is a reason why when your child says thank you to you, you just feel, oh, I want to do more. So cute, right? There's something about that. Endorphins as well. So endorphins are another neurotransmitter group. These are what we call natural painkillers, and they promote feelings of euphoria. And classically, we tell people that when you engage in exercise, you boost your endorphin levels. So endorphins are released during gratitude practices as well, and that will help to reduce pain and improve your mood, feelings of euphoria. Anyone? It's just awesome. So gratitude is great all around, and it does have significant and demonstrable effects on your brain as you practice them. Now, I want to touch very briefly on the role of contentment. And I have to say, this is something that I think is becoming more and more a rare commodity in our day, being grateful for what you have or just being content with where you are at the time, because this FOMO is just the way life is now. Everybody wants to be part of the latest thing. I'm speaking to myself. Don't worry, I'm not coming for you. So contentment is a state of happiness and satisfaction. Super important, guys. And the Bible is really big on us practicing contentment. Contentment can be cultivated by focusing on what we have rather than what we lack. And by doing that, what we're doing again is trusting in God's provision, trusting in his wisdom, and also being aware of his providence as well. So really important. And contentment really is an expression of our trust in God's faithfulness. And again, so necessary. We read about Paul writes, rather, I should say, in Philippians 4, and he talks about how he has learned to be content, whatever state he finds himself. So again, I don't think it's something that comes naturally to us, because there's something about human nature. We have to be commanded not to covet our neighbor's stuff, because there's a temptation to do that, to feel that you don't have enough and you want what your neighbor has. Envy, of course. But contentment, practicing contentment is the antidote to that. And it's gratitude and contentment do go hand in hand together. We know the story of Job. That was like the ultimate contentment story. My goodness, this man went through everything. Lost his kids, lost cattle, lost property, all that stuff. And at this point, he's boils, and his friends are like, look, curse God and die, mate. This is just too much. Like, come on, man, can you survive? In the midst of that, he's still, trusting in God and trusting in his providence and being content with what he has. And actually in the midst of that, restoration came. So these patriarchs have shown us that gratitude and contentment so important in overcoming stress. So how do we practice? How do we embrace gratitude and contentment as a lifestyle? Again, I'm probably preaching to the choir, and you guys probably already have gratitude practices, which is good, but no no harm, I should say, in going through the basic stuff. Repetition is, the master of skill? I don't know, something. Anyway, so first of all, a good way to start practicing gratitude is to start your day with it. Okay, the days I do not reach out for my phone, which are becoming less and less, thank the Lord. I love to just lay in bed when I, just catch the first, glimpse of a light and I'm aware that I'm awake, just to thank God for his presence. Like, give value to the fact that he's with us. The Lord is with us. That is the greatest gift. We get to carry his presence with us. We get to have a relationship with him. We get to be guided by him. We get to hear his voice, So let's thank him for that. That is our greatest treasure, his presence. So start your day like that, and something happens. There's a better awareness of the kingdom. There's a better awareness of the spirit realm. There's a better awareness of who you are and who Christ is in you. So start the day practicing that, thanking God for his presence. And see how it goes. Another big one, and one that's really popular now, is gratitude journaling. So it's a really good practice to sit down for a few minutes each day and write the things you're grateful for, especially those things that help with alleviating stress. Are there ways during the day or the day before where, actually God showed up and you're like, wow, thank you for that? When we focus on positive aspects of our life, it can shift our mindset from stressors, and it can really promote a sense of calm and well-being. Now, this is something that I haven't done before, but something I've come across. It's called gratitude letters. So basically, you write a letter to somebody who has positively influenced your life. We kind of do this, maybe on someone's birthday, we give them a shout out on social media, put them on our stories and things. But would you agree with me? There's something about taking a pen and writing from the heart, and really getting into it, detailing how you really feel and how this person has helped you through stressful times. Again, this will help strengthen those social connections and build support networks, which are crucial for managing stress, reminding you that you're not isolated, you're not an island, but you're part of this bigger story, first of all, and part of community that do care and love you. And it could be wee things, maybe someone gave you £20,000 for your school fees, and that's a massive one. But it could be something someone got you a hot chocolate, that's kind of God smiling at your face, smiling down, at your face, and giving you a wee boost. So I appreciate that. So I've spoken about, obviously, when you wake up in the morning, you be aware and thank God for his presence, which is I find it so helpful, and it just brings such calm and things. You could, during the day, do the same thing. So especially when you're getting maybe overwhelmed or you're losing focus, just mindfully appreciate what's around you. Something I occasionally do when I'm at work is to take a walk at lunchtime. I'll take my phone with me, but it's just nice. You're just kind of going through the woods, and it's just be mindful of nature and just the birds chirping and things like that. But rather than just walking through, literally be appreciative of the wee things that are popping up into your mind that are just making you feel that sense of God's glory in that time. And it helps ground you and brings you into the now. So you're not, again, that default mood network where you're, the drill. And it helps to reduce anxiety and stress. A good thing to do if you struggle with being grateful is to set reminders on your phone. So I actually got an app which is like, it gives me prompts during the day with like inspirational quotes that kind of point towards gratitude and things, so that I'm prompted and I'm reminded to do that. Again, having these regular reminders will help you maintain a positive outlook and will help to counteract the negative effects of stress. And this last and final one is one that I think is so important and I think is super powerful. It's just a daily reflection. Now, when you're done from work, if it's not been the most exciting day where like you're super pumped, you had all these massive wins, it can be really hard to frame the day positively, except you sit down and actually with the Lord go through the day with him, and you'll be surprised the things you missed, the ways his favor came through that you just weren't aware of. So my Catholic brothers and sisters call this, I think it's called the examine something. But sitting with the Lord and with Holy Spirit and actually going through the day, and he will highlight things and you're like, wow, thank you. You showed up there. I remember one day, all these testimonies I have, they are so basic, but they're so like sweet to me. There was this day this is so basic. Anyway, I was going to Tesco. I was in Tesco or something, or around Tesco. And I was like, man, I just really want sushi or something. I don't know. And then I walked into Tesco, and then all the sushi was reduced. It was really weird. Okay, I'm coming off like I'm quite cheap here, but it was like, oh wow, like you knew I wanted sushi and then you led me to the Tesco. Oh, thank you, Lord. It's weird, but it just made my day. Like that's just like heaven smiling down on you. So it was nice. So reflecting on your day is a big one. And when you're able to see the ways God showed up during the day, it helps really reframe it in a positive and more heaven-focused way. And it will help you to reduce your stress levels as well and enhance your mood. And it means that when you get into sleep, there is a sense of, and she looked back on the day and it was good. Like the Lord did in Genesis. It's not all bad. Like that was a good day, despite the stuff that popped up that threatened to steal my peace. So to summarize, guys, I want to thank you so much again for joining in. You all are amazing. In this episode, we have spoken about gratitude, and it's, again, a big part of our culture at the moment. It's popping up everywhere as people are becoming more attuned to mindfulness. But in relation to stress, gratitude is a powerful antidote. It will improve your mood, your levels of happiness, and your well-being in general. And your brain actually responds to gratitude in a great way. And that can help you more resilient against stress. So would you take some time to think about how gratitude and contentment can serve as powerful antidotes to you? Are there ways where maybe the Lord is prompting you to become a more grateful person, not just to him, but to the people around you, including people younger than you, by the way? This is something I encounter a lot in African culture where, obviously me being younger, saying thank you to someone older is expected, but it's not expected the other way around. But I don't think that's heaven culture. If the Lord can say thank you to me, which even saying it now still feels a bit, did that happen? Like, surely we can say thank you to our kids when they show up, or thank you to a wee nephew when he, like it just makes life feel less sticky, just more oily, and there's just more flow. Yeah, gratitude is great. And to end this all, I would like to read a wonderful scripture that always inspires me to be more grateful. And it's 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18 and the TPT version. It says, "And in the midst of everything, be always giving thanks, for this is God's perfect plan for you in Christ Jesus." God's perfect plan for you. And remember, guys, just to encourage you, it is a practice. So let's get it started. Practice does make perfect. And this time next year, we'll be like gratitude bunnies, just like being like grateful all the time. Just makes life so much better. But anyway, thanks again for tuning in. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a conversation together. Until next time, please continue to travel light. God bless y'all. Bye.